Hey everyone, as you may recognize this game, this is the first game that I ever did a video on YouTube, and it is time to do the expansion for this game, which is Expedition Leaders.
Video. Why can't I get that? No. I'm gonna redo that.
So before we start, my name is Krissy and this is my channel, 𝗪𝗓𝗓𝗏. If there is a video, not a video, if there is a game. If there is a game out there that you would love for me to review for you, please let me know what that is down in the comments below. Like this video and of course subscribe to the channel. Now I have already gone over Arnak, Lost Ruins of Arnak. So if you want a little bit more of an overview for that game, then I will link that up here and in the description down below because I have already gone over it. But I will give you a little mini overview for it here, and I will go over in more detail the expansion for this game. So let's go ahead and take a look at the table and go over that little mini overview for the base game. So I do have everything set up here for the Expedition Leaders expansion, but it's pretty much the exact same thing. The board for the base game comes with two sides that you can play with, both different temples, and you maneuver your way up through the temples. You need resources, which is where these sites that you want to discover come in handy because you can discover some of these sites and they will give you some of the benefits. Whenever you're discovering any of these sites, you'll be able to gain any of these bonuses, benefits down here, and you will try to overcome some of these guardian tiles, which also require resources. So this game is a worker placement game, so you will be placing your worker out here trying to get those resources and everything that you may need, because it is also a deck building game. So you're going to be trying to collect these resources to pay for some of these cards that you can later on play to give you some of the benefits and potentially more resources to help you move up on this track. Now you're doing all that with your turn. You will have a set hand that you can play. You're playing one card at a time and you're completing what the bonuses are down on the cards. Now if it has a lightning bolt, it is a fast action and that does not cost one for one of your actions. If there is anything on your cards like this is not a fast action. This is an action that you're going to be taking on your turn. You can either exile one of your cards and gain a coin, or if you play this from your hand, you may exile it to gain one gem. Now gems are a hot commodity in this game. You do need quite a bit to move up this temple here. So any chance that you can get gems are pretty good to have. So this is an artifact card. Artifact cards cost compasses, and you're going to need some of these also to discover some of these sites. Now you're going to be paying those with the compasses, and these ones you can activate right away as soon as you purchase the card. Anytime that you're playing a card, they go down in front of you, and that is the only thing that you're able to do during your turn. It will be the next player's turn, and then it'll be yours again. Now if you want to purchase any of these item cards up here, these ones do cost coins. Any of these purchased go underneath of your deck over here because you cannot play them right away. They don't go into your discard pile. So you want to keep in mind whenever you're drawing new cards that you're going to be getting some of these item cards here because of placing them underneath of it. Now, whenever you're discovering sites, like I said, you do come across these guardian tiles here, and I said that you get to pay the cost here to be able to acquire them. So you get to keep these. You can use them for their little boon effect right here. This one is an airplane, fancy because it is a bird. And then once you use it for their boon's ability, then you get to flip it over and it is worth 5 points at the end of the game. Now every time that you discover a new site, you also gain the token that is on that site right there. You have the option to use it right away or lose it. It gets flipped and placed onto your board. And throughout your turn, all of these effects here are fast actions. So you have the option to place that up here for any of these icons here. Now this is the new board. The other boards that come with the base game will not have this option right here. And then at the end, the only thing that this does is cover up some of these points here. So you end up with a little bit less, but you do get the benefit from the board right here. Now there are negative cards in this game too, and you actually start the game with 2 of these fear cards in your hand. These are worth -1 point at the end of the game. There are options to exile cards, and these should be the first ones to go. So before we go over what the expansion changes on the board and all of the new cards that it comes with, I want to go over these 6 new player boards here. They are all asymmetric and they all have different things and they take you on different paths. So I want to go through these first. So let's go down to the table and we'll take a look at the professor first. So with the new player boards, you actually get new starter cards as well. You can tell whose starter cards they are because they have the image of the character on them. And of course, we always start with 2 fear cards as well. And basically this card here, depending on how many artifact cards that you have in your play area, that is how much benefits that you're going to be able to gain from here. So if you have 0, you're going to gain a coin. If you have 1+ in your player area, you can either gain a coin or you can gain a compass to your briefcase, which we'll go through in a second. If you have 2 or more, you get to choose any one of the option. So place a compass or a tablet on the briefcase or a coin. So we have linguistics. Then we have preservation, so both fast actions, either a compass or you can exchange some of your resources that you have. And of course funding, we get the coin. So fast action, you get to gain a compass and it says you may swap one of your artifacts in your archive with one from the card row. Now your archive here, this has to do with instead of purchasing from here, you can purchase from here, and sometimes you'll have some of your compasses or coins on here that will allow you to use them to either buy cards up here or these ones right here. And to help you purchase some of these cards, there is a bit of a setup with the professor here. So you see these icons right here. You're basically placing a compass and a tablet on 2, 3, 4, and 5 on all the different rounds. And whenever at the beginning of each round, you're going to be collecting those and they're going to go onto your briefcase, and that's going to help you with purchasing some of those cards. And then new icons and a new spot here on your board is whenever you defeat a guardian and you get the idol here, you have the option to cover these blue locations, and these activate these ones. So they're just a little bit better. This one is a coin, exchanging some of your resources for others, and adding a compass to your briefcase. So that is basically the professor here, really artifact driven for this one. Then we have the Baroness. Now, she is very item drawn, and basically her whole thing here is items. You really want items. You get a lot of coins with this one. This card here is a special one, and it gets added to your hand every single time at the beginning of each round. So this one here, it says, play this effect when you buy an item and put it directly into your hand. So it kind of is acting as a spot holder for any of the other cards that you want to purchase during that turn. And then again, at the end of every single round, it does go back to your hand, and it does say that there. All of the new characters, all of the new player boards do come with this icon right here. So this one, for however many item cards that I have in play, depending on how many, you either get a coin, a compass, or you can refresh one of your assistants here. Then we have connections, you gain a coin, and this one it says, and you may exile the far most left card from the row and refill it. And this one, another fast action for a compass, or you can exchange 2 coins for a gem. And she also, like the professor, has a bit of a setup here. From rounds 2 to 5, you're going to have coins placed on there, and at the beginning of each turn, you get to collect them. And again, all of the new player boards are going to have the blue locations. This one is a coin and draw a card. So that is the Baroness. We will go into the Falconer now. So the Falconer does come with a neat little token here, and you can maneuver your way through here, collecting these benefits and bonuses here, and you can do that by these icons right here, and that will allow you to move up it so that you can collect those bonuses. Now, everybody does have funding, which is just a coin. This one, tracking, is a compass, and it says if you discover a new site this turn, you may draw 2 guardians and choose one. And this one, for however many guardians that you have overcome, you either gain a coin, exile a card, or a coin, and move your token up here. And again, this one, coin or compass, or move your falcon up. So that is the Falconer. Again, the 2 blue locations here on the board, you gain the compass, and you get to move up your falcon. So that was the Falcon. And we have the Explorer. Now the Explorer starts the game with only 1 worker, and they also start with 3 food tokens. So you get these food tokens, and their cards actually if you want to take some of these bonuses or these the benefits from the campsites, you can place your food on here, your snacks, by paying the cost. The water jug here does not have a cost, so you wouldn't have to pay that. Or the way that the explorer moves around is by placing the worker out and then using a food and paying the cost for it to move to another location. So however much food that you have, you can maneuver your way through the board is essentially how it is. You cannot move back into a spot with a snack on there either. And at the third spot, so you only start the game with only 2 of these, and on the third round you will be able to get this. So it's almost like you have 3 workers and you're able to move around the board with these snacks here. So she has 2 of these icons here where she can use her snacks on, both getting her pretty decent benefits right there. This one you can gain a compass, and if you discover a new site this turn, you may draw 2 sites and choose one. So obviously the Explorer is a lot more to do with the board and exploring versus the Falconer, which was overcoming the Guardians. And then of course funding for that one. So that is the Explorer. Then we go to this one right here. This is the Captain. Now the Captain is the one that actually starts the game with 3 different workers. I don't have them out, but we will just pretend that these are the 3 workers. Now Captain has a special spot right here, which is this location, so you can put a worker on here, and it would basically allow you to use any silver action over here on the assistants. The worker cannot come off, it cannot move until the end of your turn, and you have passed, and then you can recall all of your workers. That's the only way to get it off of this spot here. And for their blue actions is a compass and an airplane. The cards for this one are pretty much the same as all the other ones. You can get a compass, or you can pay a coin for 2 airplanes. And this one, depending on how many archaeologists that you have out exploring, it depends on what resource that you're going to be getting. And this one has a hidden fear card. So this one is a special one. It is -2 points. And it says, if this card is exiled, gain a fear card and a compass. And then of course we have funding. So that was the Captain. And then we move on to the Mystic. The Mystic is a little bit of a larger board, just because it kind of has its own discard pile for fear cards. Now this one, I have the cards right here for it. This one starts the game with its workers as normal. It does have an extra location here for the 3rd spot for the idol. And this one, whenever you start the game at the beginning of each round, you're going to draw 5 cards, and you're going to be pulling a fear card every single time. So you will always have at least 1 fear card in your hand. And that is because this Mystic here, they can do something special with this. They can do rituals. Now, rituals is using the discarded fear cards and using it to gain resources, purchase some artifact cards, or overcome a guardian. And you can discard your cards there by either overcoming a guardian and having the idol here that you can place it on, and you can discard the cards into this location here. And you can do a ritual with this one here. But all of the cards have the same action right there. You can exile this card to place one of the fear cards over here, or you can exile this card to do a ritual, which is on all of their cards. But you also have that action right here so that you can exile that card too. This one is drawing another card, so hopefully that you can exile it. And then this one here, blindside, you get a compass, and it says, if you discover a new site this turn, you may exile instead of gaining the idol effect, or again, you can exile the card so that you're able to do a ritual. So all of the player aids are all completely different. They all take different paths, as you saw. And now we can go over what the changes are on the board, and we will start with the new overlay for the temple. So this is the Lizard Temple. As you can see, it is basically the same, almost same setup as the base board here. The only difference now is the different costs to move up the board. There are some different victory points here depending on how high that you can go up. There is the action or the option right here now to purchase any of these tiles up here depending on which location you're at. You can move up one tile or one layer at a time, and then of course getting to the top and still being able to purchase any of them. The main big thing on here is this guardian right here. Now when you're moving up, the first person in this location needs to flip it over and overcome this guardian for anybody, including the person who discovered it, to move up. Once it has been defeated, then you get to use the boon and flip it over, and you're the one who gains the 5 victory points for the end of the game. Once it's off, everybody is allowed to move up throughout. So that is the lizard temple. The other temple on the other side is the monkey temple. The monkey temple adds extra bonus tiles and an artifact location, and that is up for grabs for anybody to use whenever they're on that location, and of course different symbols that you can use to move up that monkey temple too. The next big thing, I think, with the expansion adds this new moon staff. This one here, if you flip it over, it has an icon on it, and it is discard the cards. So you're actually discarding 2 of the cards, moving it over and getting rid of it. And with that nice option, you just get to see a lot more of the cards because there are more cards that came with this, both items and artifact cards. So it's just a nice way to be able to get through the deck and be able to see more cards and hopefully help you out with your journey. And here is some of the cards that came with the expansion. There is a little icon down here of a falcon. Not much different, just different cards. They're all still the same. Nothing really too much to go with the new player boards. So it doesn't matter whichever character you want to play with, that you can play with it, and you don't have to worry about any of these new cards kind of affecting it. So this one is use the effect to any item from the card row. If that item says to exile it, then exile the toolbox instead, which is that one. This one here, parachute, you can exile this card to move or to place a worker with a discount of 2 airplanes. Choose 1, 2, or all 3 of these, depending on whether your compass is advanced from row 2, 4, or 7. That's a neat one. We haven't played with this one yet. We've never gotten to that one. And then we have airship, which is just straight up a fast action, 2 compasses. This one here, a coin and a tablet. Cat, you get a coin and you may activate an occupied campsite, which is nice. And then we have some artifacts that are new too. This one, you get to exile a card and gain a coin. You may play this from your hand and you may exile it to gain a gem. This one, if you have a gem, you can exchange it for 2 tablets and 2 arrowheads. This one, you can move one of your idols on your player board from a slot back into the supply crate, which is nice. And this one, if there is no other cards in your play area, then you can gain 2 cards. Otherwise, you would just gain 3 coins. And this one, remove one of your slotted idols from the game to gain 3 coins. So there's some nice little ones. There's not too much. That's pretty much the same as the rest of the other cards, just newer and maybe a little bit better too, and some heftier costs as well. So that was my overview for the base game and a little bit more detailed overview for the expansion. I really enjoy this game. I already really enjoyed the base game, as I'm sure everybody knows, since that was the first video ever done on my channel. But I'm really happy that they finally came out with an expansion for this game. Really enjoy how it added the asymmetric boards for all the players, and that they're all different. They all take different routes, some more with the artifact cards, some more with the item cards, some whenever you get the benefits, the bonuses and the benefits, or how some, depending on how many guardians that you've overcome, you get different benefits based off of that. Other ones depending on how many dig sites that you've actually discovered. So they all take different paths, and I really enjoy that. Love how they all have different cards too, which aid in that, like the one for artifacts and for items. You get either compasses, or you get, for the Baroness, you get a whole bunch of money so that it really helps you get what you really need. And it almost gives you a better chance at having a higher scoring game, I think, just because of the benefits, or your cards are really for what your player is actually for. So it's just really pushing you towards going that way. And you almost have to go that way, I feel like. So I played the Baroness in the overview, or in the playthrough that I did with Nick, and I know that because we filmed it before I'm filming this. Those ones really focused on the artifacts, and the Baroness really focused on the item cards, and all of your cards gave you money. So what do you do with money? You buy more item cards. So I ended up with a lot of item cards. I ended up with a lot of extra points because of that. And then all of those cards, and because of that one card that you get with the Baroness, a lot of the cards went to your hand so that you were able to play them again. And it really helped going up the temple track because you're getting those extra bonuses too from the cards. And then Nick, whenever he was playing the professor, all he was doing was collecting artifact cards, and he wasn't even actually trying to get as many as the guardians that he normally does. So it really sets your path on which player you choose. We chose ours just randomly, so we never know what we're going to do. So we don't really get to plan too much ahead of it. Really enjoyed that the way that the new moon staff works. You're getting rid of more cards because the expansion comes with more cards. So you're really cycling through them. You're getting to see more of the new cards. There's still some in there from the base game that hasn't come up, that we haven't played with, which is crazy because we've played this game so many times. So that's crazy to me that there's still some that we haven't seen. So it's nice with the new moon staff so that we are cycling the cards more. You're getting to see more. I think that the rounds go by a little bit quicker, I feel like, because of the player boards that you're getting. You really know what path you're going through. So the rounds even go by a little bit quicker, I find, with the expansion, as long as you are familiar with the character that you're playing with. The expansion did add extra monsters. There are some new monsters in here too. There's some new dig sites. They did come with some new idols, and there was a change, I think, with one of the cards we had to swap out, and one of the assistants that we had to swap out as well, just to make the game, I guess, work a little bit better, more smooth. And a lot of these new guardian tiles, they still have the same cost that you need to pay for them, but a lot of them has 2 benefits up here for their boon, which is really nice. I had a couple here. Let's see. So there's this one here too. You can discard a card so that you can gain that benefit there. This one, you can put down a boot and it'll give you 2 airplanes instead. This one is just 1, but some of them have double benefit on it, which is really nice for their boon. And then, of course, they all are worth 5 points at the end too. So a lot of those ones, and there are some new sites here too, which are kind of nice. They're adding these, they're doing a little bit more with the campsites here, which is really nice. There is one of the new cards too that allow you to use an occupied spot, but then there's also another one that lets you use an unoccupied spot, which I thought was really neat. So I definitely like that you can do that because these ones go pretty quick, and especially when you're playing a 2-player game, the second slot on here gets taken off, it gets covered. So you're not always able to get on here, which again, if you get those cards, if you get this discovering the level 2 site and you get this icon here, it is really nice. Definitely comes in handy whenever you're using that so that you can potentially get some more, move up the board a little bit. These ones, same thing. I found that these ones a little bit had more fear cards in them. They're all pretty much the same. They all have the same, similar to the other ones, to the base ones. So these ones didn't really change too much. They're not really adding anything extra to it, just more of the same. So overall, I really enjoyed the expansion. I enjoyed what it added to it and the whole overall experience. There's no way that I will be playing with any of the player boards from the base game. I will definitely be playing from here on out with the expansion because all of the different benefits and the different paths that you can take with them, I really enjoy that. And I look forward to playing with a new character, a different character every single time. I do have to say though, it's not changing the game very much. So if you didn't enjoy Lost Ruins of Arnak, the base game, you're probably not going to enjoy it. It's not changing it too much with the expansion. But if you do enjoy Lost Ruins of Arnak, I think looking into the expansion might be something that you need to do. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video and I will catch you next time. All of the new cards and everything that comes with it, with the expansion. Hey everyone! Doing the base game.